In this video, I'm going to show you how to combine data from two or more different tables in Excel, which is essentially using lookups without writing any formulas, utilizing Excel's Power Pivot add-on tool. So this used to be an add-on, but is now a default in Excel 2016 and newer. And so the first thing that we want to do is we want to convert both of our tables into Excel tables, which we're going to do using the format as table. So I'm going to go ahead and select all my data and say format as table. And yes, my table has headers. Okay, I'm going to name my table sales data. I'm going to do the same thing with my unit costs, format as table. Unit cost, and then I'm going to go to the data tab and create a relationship. So we want to create a new one between our sales data and our unit cost. And what is the column that's the same between them? What column are we referencing off of? Well, it's the item. So our item column, we're going to create, hit OK, and close. And immediately we can create a pivot table using this workbook's data model, and we could put unit costs and say the item, and then go to our sales data and click on quantity. And so now we already have our data combined to where we could do some analysis with them. But we want to actually determine what our profit was, and in order to do that, we need to figure out what is our sale price minus our purchase price and times that by the quantity sold. And in order to do that, we need to go to the Power Pivot add-on and click Manage the Data Model. You could also similarly do that from the Data tab and click Manage Data Model. So here, this is the Power Pivot user interface. If you click on Diagram View, you could see the relationship between the items on this table, and you can have several different tables on here. Going back to our data view, we want to get the profit. So we can click equal sign, sales price minus purchase cost. And now we have a number. Let's change that to currency and rename this column to unit profit. And if we go back to our sales data, we can click equals related, and it's showing the values from the other table. So unit profit. Now we can see what the profit is per orange, pepper, grapes. It's grabbing this data from the other table. And then if we multiply that value by the quantity, well, now we have our total profit per item. Total profit. So if we go back to Excel and we click Insert Pivot Table, and we're going to use the data model, we can go to Unit Costs and say Item, go to our sales data and click Total Profit, and now it is calculating our total profit for us. We don't have to write a single formula, and we can analyze this data however we want. By dates, putting the items into our columns, doing a lot of different things. And we could do some even neater things, such as creating moving averages. So let's say, we have our dates here. We're going to ungroup that. We could make a graph and then say add trend line, moving average, 5-day. But maybe we're only interested in the moving average, or for a weekly moving average. Well, we could go ahead and format this and make it so there's no line, that it's hidden, but there's a better way to do that. If we go back to our Power Pivot add-on, we can actually calculate a moving average. So I'm going to go ahead and say weekly moving average. That's what we're going to name it. Semicolon equals. Now we're going to create our formula. So for our formula, we're going to do calculate. This is a way to filter data. We're going to do the sum of our total profit, sales data total profit, And then we're going to filter that. How are we going to filter it? We're going to use the dates in period formula, and we're going to use our date column. Our start date is simply going to be the last date from the date column. The number of intervals, we're going to go back 7 days, which is a week, and the interval is days. So you can do weeks, months, years. And then we're done. If we expand this, we'll see that $5.49 is the most recent. I'm going to change this to accounting. Now if we go back to this pivot table in our pivot chart, we can actually add our weekly moving average to it. Now you can see this number is much higher than what we had down here, and that's because I forgot to make it an average. We need to divide this number by 7 because it's 7 days. So 79 cents is actually our moving average. So you can see we have a moving average there. If I add a trend line and make it a moving average for 7 days, you can see that they overlap. So I'm going to go ahead and delete our moving average. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to remove our total profit, and now we have a weekly moving average.